Okay, so what we're going to do here is talk about graphs and models. Major thing with graphs and models is you're going to have um, intercepts, and you will be looking for symmetry. So this is how we can kind of predict what's going to happen. So an intercept is either going to be where your graph crosses the x or y axis. So we'll draw them really quick. It's always good to label them just to make sure. Of course, you could switch them either way. But let's look at something like a circle. Okay, so a circle here has an x-intercept, another x-intercept, a y-intercept, and another y-intercept. The fact that it's got two y-intercepts means that it's obviously not a function. You remember we got to talk about the vertical line test. We don't deal a whole lot with those, but this is just the concept. If it crosses the y-axis, then it's a y-intercept. If it crosses the x-axis, it's an x-intercept. These are really nice to use to help graph things because they're set points and they're very easy for us to solve analytically because the y-axis is actually the line x equals 0 and the x-axis is the line y equals 0. So we use that in order to find our x and y intercepts, and that helps us make our graphs. Another thing is symmetry. Symmetry is mainly we talk about two types, which is going to be y symmetry, which would be something like a parabola. So a parabola here is symmetric across the y-axis. It's the same image to the left and to the, or excuse me, to the right and the left. So the way that we identify that would be that for every point x, y, you have a point across from it, across the y-axis, that would be the negative x, but the same y. So you could have symmetry in a bunch of different ways. I mean, again, you could have it down, up, all sorts of different places. But this is a way that we can also identify a function. There is also one other type of symmetry that we normally use. So again, we call this y symmetry. You'll also hear it called even. You'll see those two distinctions. But we can also make another type that exists that we'll see often, and that's called even symmetry, or excuse me, odd symmetry, or origin symmetry. And just as the name sounds, it means that your graph is symmetric due to the origin, which is right here. Okay, so basically around this line, you have symmetry. Oops. So this will also be called odd. So a graph that would be very odd would be something like a cubic graph or a straight line that goes through the origin. Oops. Okay, so let's draw a cubic graph here. So as you can see, it's the same across this line here, or also the same across this line here. So that is what origin symmetry looks like. And the way we can tell the distinction of that is from this. If you have a point x, y, you also have the same point on the opposite side, which would be the complete opposite, the negative x, negative y of itself. And I'll show in the examples how that fits.